The Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by Underdog. This is the Week 9 recap. We're guessing the Week 10 spreads and everything else in between. Plus, everyone's favorite segment, Cust Eats, coming up a little bit later. Plus, who won't score the first touchdown for the Sunday Night Football game? A reminder to all you great people out here to smash the like to the episode right now. Thank you. And sub. If you want to comment in the live chat that's going on right now, you need to be subbed to Mayo Media Network, so please go do that right now. Garion's on the line, and Tim is in studio with hat. It's been a while.
It has been several weeks. It's been since that Thursday nighter against the Patriots. So the Jets are the kings of Thursday night.
For 72 hours?
I have not, but I mean, metaphorically I have, but not physically.
So right off the hop, just talk about how last week,
Why are you looking at yourself in
literally
the
a week
thing?
ago,
Pardon me? I was trying to look at Garion.
You're trying to look at Garion.
Yeah.
You know he's not in the little TV over there, right?
He is. I can see him right now.
let me
I
out.
get that, but we're doing a show, so technically he's there.
Yeah, I know.
But you're just looking at yourself with the hat on, like normal.
I was trying to look at Garion because he was talking to me.
Why didn't you just turn around and look at the TV?
Either way, literally a week ago on this show, at least 7 times, we told you if the Jets won one more game, you'd allow yourself to get excited and get drawn back in. And you denied it time and time again. And then what did you do immediately after they won on Thursday night?
I got excited. They played great.
What are they going to finish the season? What's their record?
I don't know. 9-8.
Well, let's try this out right now. They're at the Cardinals next week. Do you think that they win?
It's becoming a tougher and tougher game as the Cardinals prove themselves to be a
All
playoff
right,
caliber
you
team.
you
But yes.
tweeted out earlier that they're going to be
Yes.
8-6 here in a second.
So yes.
All right, at home against at home against the Colts.
Yes, Jets.
Even in a Joe Flacco revenge
Yeah,
game.
Jets.
At home against the Seahawks.
Jets.
At the Dolphins.
Jets.
At the Jags.
Jets.
At home against the Rams.
Rams.
At the Bills.
Bills.
At home against the Dolphins.
Jets.
But you were just commenting on how the Bills are no good.
No, well, it's not that they're no good. They don't tackle, but the Jets don't tackle. So 9-8. That seems about right.
What do you think, Gary? 9-8 for the Jets?
Sure. I don't personally see it. I think they'll get up a touchdown on the Cardinals next weekend, and somehow they'll be 11-6 again. But I don't know, Tim. I'm just disappointed in you. Okay, I thought we'd finally gotten to a point where after just getting punched in the gut, day after day, game after game, year after year, you'd finally let your expectations fall to a point where you couldn't get hurt, and you're right back up on that high horse.
Not right. No, not really. Because if they're going to go 9-8, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. And if they did, they're
You're
gonna
wearing a Jets hat.
because they won. I got to wear the victory hat.
Well, can you wear this too? Present for you.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, you got to open it live on the show.
Oh my goodness.
This comes from our friend Sean McCormick, who, if he's watching, shout out to
Oh.
you. I forgot this got sent to me like 3 years ago, and now I can give it to Tim. Tim has never opened a gift. He's never received a gift before, so he has no idea how to open one.
Do we
Your
trust
hands
him
are
with
too
scissors?
soft.
What's that?
His hands are too soft to get through that.
Go, Jets, go!
Great.
You put it on!
No.
Why? Someone got you a gift, and you're like, fuck that.
Thank you.
No, it doesn't seem like
Thank you
you
for
want to
your-
say thank you at all. You won't even put it on with
Thank
your
you
Jets.
for the
You're
Tim
wearing a
Tebow.
stupid Jets hat. You might as well put it on the Jets
Thank
jersey.
you for the Tim Tebow jersey.
You don't seem very excited.
What's that Tim Tebow jersey?
Well, you just don't seem very excited at all. You seem like kind of a downer. This is what people were saying. All right, Debbie Downer Cust is back on the show. They finally win. You get yourself excited. Now we ask you if you're excited. You're like, oh, no. What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
You call yourself a man of the people.
I'm a man for the people and of the people.
Well, so the people gave you a gift. You want nothing to do with it.
No, I said thank you. I showed it off.
You put it on.
I'm not going to put it on.
You put it on.
No.
It appears as if the Eagles have won, Garion.
Okay.
So the Eagles finish off those jumbo Jags who, at one point in that game, had maybe like 2 minutes of good play in them. And that was it. And they somehow scored 16 points in that time frame.
Yeah, they scored 16 points in the span of like 45 seconds. and that's pretty much their season.
It looks like Seattle's trying to mount something here. Okay, so let's get into your team, Garion and Paul's team, Buffalo. They played each other today. It was a better effort from the Dolphins than I thought they were going to put up.
Yeah. I mean, look, I stared at a wall for like 15 minutes after this game ended, despite the fact that immediately as they scored the touchdown to tie it at 27, I knew they had left too much time on the clock. But again, this game was lost on a 2-play sequence where the Dolphins had somehow gotten Josh Allen into a 3rd and 14. They'd actually managed to sack him, I think for the first time in like 9 years. And they immediately get drawn offside to make it a 3rd and 9. Allen chucks up a prayer that was not going to be caught. And sleeper agent Jordan Poyer, who's been maybe the worst safety in the NFL this season, leads with his helmet, gets a 15-yard penalty. Again, if he doesn't do this, if he's just on the other side of the field, not doing anything, which is what he's best at, Coleman drops this ball. The Bills have to punt to the Dolphins, who they have not stopped for the entirety of the second half, aside from a Raheem Mostert fumble. And even that was on its way to a scoring drive. They'd have 2 timeouts and 45 seconds to drive for a field goal. Can't do that. No. And then you get in a situation where Tyler Bass, who has already missed an extra point and clanked in an extra point, as soon as he's lining up a 61-yard field goal, I didn't even have to watch. I knew it was going in. Dead center. I think it hit the upright as it went through. That's how dead center he made this kick. Every single Bills fan I know has zero trust in Tyler Bass. I had no doubts he was making that kick. So I stared at a wall for 15 minutes, and then I texted my dad, as I do probably once a season, and asked him why he forced me into this life. And that's where I am.
Where are you at, Paul, being on the other side of this? This is now 2 games against the AFC East, the Jets game and the Miami game, who the Bills are supposed to be much better than both of those teams. But they probably should have lost both those games, and they won both the games.
See, the Bills usually lose those games, though.
Oh, shut up.
We're
yeah, Bills fans. Oh,
learning
God.
how to win games that we play bad and somehow still win. Like, we never.
Josh Allen threw a touchdown where the Dolphin defender propelled the football into the end zone. That's how God-kissed the Bills are. Don't give me this bullshit.
No, what I'm saying is, like, Bills
oh,
are
God. World's
God-kissed?
smallest violin, buddy. World's smallest violin.
Bills are God-kissed? We've never been God-kissed. We never hit that 61-yard field goal. That's, like, never happened in the history
just did, buddy.
I know, except for today. Otherwise...
Oh, yeah, I know. Man, it must be hard on you winning the AFC
game,
by 9 games every
season.
season.
That type of game, the Jets game, we usually blow that game. It's like we're starting to win games that we don't really deserve to win. So I'm pretty happy about things as they are. Sorry, Gary.
You seem salty, Gary. Somehow Tim is somehow saltier than you, despite the fact that his team won.
I'm not salty. I'm
You
quite happy.
you have no enthusiasm for anything.
I just don't want to hear it from Bills fans anymore. Honestly, I'm tired of every fan base who thinks they have it the worst. I was 9 years old the last time this team won a goddamn playoff game. I'm getting tired. You know?
I think I can make the case, Gary, that I've had it at least as bad as you. Like,
I don't know what an AFC championship game feels like.
Yeah, but okay, you're right. But when your team loses, they don't lose by... I mean, how many absolute moronic things have happened to the Jets in the last 10 years? Like, moments where it's like, how do you even show your face when that happens? Like, you know.
Look, I'm not here to necessarily say that you've had it less bad.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen your team throw a pick six on a Hail Mary? Because, I mean, you have seen it happen to my team. Have you seen your team lose when you get a Hail Mary? Because my team's done that. Have you seen your
team win a playoff game?
I have, although my team has the longest current active streak of not being in the playoffs, which was 13 years ago when you were like 6. So, you know, like, I don't want to have a victim off in terms of our teams, but like, I think you have to say that I've at least had it as bad as you, because my lows. Oh yeah, again, my lows are much.
I just don't want to hear from Bills fans.
Well, that's fair. My lows. I've
also happened to like work my way into a bunch of like in-laws that live in the Niagara region. So I'm dealing with a lot of like people texting me who I'm tired of Bills fans right now. I really am.
I guess the real question here are Bills fans the new Patriots fans, but without the Super Bowl?
No, because the Patriots actually won a Super Bowl. Many of them.
Yeah.
We had a 40th birthday party
You know what? Bills fans are 76ers fans.
Ah, okay. We had a 40th birthday party for our friend last night, who is probably the most insufferable person to be around as it comes to watching sports, as he is. Is he from Boston?
Yes, born and raised in Boston.
He was not born and raised. If I've known him since I was like 7 years old and he lived by me, then obviously he wasn't born and raised in Boston.
He was born in Boston and moved here when he was like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, so he was not. I'm not. It's like we have another friend who was like born in Calgary, lived there until he was like 5. He's like, yeah, I got a lot of connection with there, so you don't fucking remember anything from there.
No, his whole family is from Boston.
Yeah.
As well.
So anyway, this guy is the worst. Nice enough guy, but you know how it is when you deal with Boston fans, Garion.
I work with several.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
No.
Anyway, I want to get that out. I want to talk about Detroit, though. Detroit ends up with the win in this game. We can talk about this both ways because Green Bay is going on bye week. I guess my question is, why was Jordan Levis starting in this game for the Green Bay Packers?
He wasn't. Jordan Love was not Jordan Levis. Jordan
he
Love.
was Jordan. He was Jordan Levis.
I know, but Jordan Love should not have played in this game. He wasn't right. The weather was terrible, which you think should advantage a Green Bay team over Detroit, who hadn't been outdoors all season. And they had nothing. The only time that Jordan Love looked like Jordan Love is when he threw the interception touchdown. It's like, oh, that's Jordan Love I know, who makes one just soul-crushing mistake every single week. A very, very poor performance from the Packers at home.
Garion, do you think Detroit is going to cost itself its season by running dumb trick plays for no reason? I have a feeling this is going to happen to them because they keep doing it every single week. Like, what was the reason to run it today? Up where you are. Like, there's absolutely...
Even Tom Brady criticized it. He doesn't criticize anything. Even he's like, I don't know. You need to run that play there.
But like they did it when they styled on the Cowboys. They did it. I believe they ran one last week as well against the Titans, or maybe it was just a big return that's sticking out in my head. But like, you're up in this game, all you need to do is run the clock out. You're going to win. But no, we need to do a double reverse. And if there's a fumble there, Green Bay scores a touchdown, it starts getting close again. There's no reason for it.
I'm okay with it. Honestly, I think it's nice to show that you have this sort of like deep well of trick plays. I think it's almost intimidating to know that you're not willing to like, you don't think you have to stash them away and hide them for like an amazing moment that might never come. I just think Detroit's a team. We've seen it last season with their willingness to be aggressive on fourth downs and with 2-point conversions. Like, they are who they are, and they're not going to change who they are, whether it's week 5 or the Super Bowl. And I just think when you have this ability, like it's almost like when the Chiefs did like the ring around the rosy thing against the Raiders or whatever. It's at a certain point, yeah, maybe it costs you. Maybe you do have a stupid interception or a fumble on a double reverse, but I almost think it's just one of those things where you're almost just showing how little you care and how little you fear your opponent. You're just like, we're going to do whatever we want. We're going to run schoolyard plays and we're going to make it work because we're better than you.
Do you think this tells us anything about Green Bay with Jordan Love? I mean, he was just hobbling around the entire time. I'm still not entirely sure why he was playing.
I think the only thing it shows is that they are certainly a cut below the really elite teams.
They have a 50% quarterback out there.
Still, I don't think they quite belong there.
I told you last night that I would have preferred, like, because
you did.
Like, I would have preferred Willis had played. Like, for me, picking Green Bay at +3.5, I would have rather had Green Bay +3.5 than Love at +2.5 in this game. It made no sense to me.
No, I agree with you.
I agree with you there. As a public, they're the only publicly owned team. So this is like working for the government now. You can't get things that they're not in the budget. They couldn't afford to buy him any fucking gloves to be out there.
I can't understand why he and the center both didn't have gloves on. They're an outdoor team in the driving rain, and to not have gloves on when you keep fumbling snap after snap is just terrible malpractice. And what is LaFleur doing? Not telling him to put a set of gloves on during practice all week, seeing the forecast. Like, what's LaFleur doing? Not coaching.
It was all very strange stuff, Garion. And maybe Green Bay just didn't want to show what they had coming to Detroit for later on in the season. But it was just a really bad performance from them. And there was a few plays today that really swung a lot of the games. Because I really felt like the Josh Allen interception when Coleman just popped it up when it went through his hands. Like, that flipped that entire game. The Bills score there, I feel like they kind of blow out the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, the two drives they didn't score in the first half were an interception that should have been a touchdown and a touchdown that was called back by a phantom holding penalty. So they could have been up by 2 touchdowns in the first half, and I think it would have kind of, spiraled like it tends to in those games.
And then
back to Green Bay, though, I honestly think. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying in the Detroit game, where just down 3-0, going down the length of the field, just running the entire time with David Montgomery, they do the hard count that works on the 4th down to get half the distance, and then score the touchdown on the 4th down. It was just really a pace setter for them, just like, hey, we're better than you, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. I think when we're talking about where Green Bay kind of lies, I think, as we talked about last week, I mean, Detroit is definitively the best team in the NFC, and they might be the best team in the NFL, although I think you and I, Pat, still feel like it's the Chiefs until proven otherwise. But after that, I don't know if today's loss with, like you said, half a quarterback, essentially, I don't know if it tells me that much about Green Bay. I still feel like, to me, there's an argument that they're still the second best team in the NFC. I think San Francisco obviously is kind of like a sleeping giant. They just haven't gotten off to the best start this season. They've obviously had some terrible injury luck, although Green Bay can say the same thing. But aside from that, I still think I'd have Green Bay in the top 3. I just think Detroit is that much better. And if you're going to give them a hobbled Jordan Love, I think you're just asking for your own demise at that point. But the fact that they were able to win games with Malik Willis and basically play a completely different style of football than what we tend to see from a Matt LaFleur team, that shows me something. I think they are very versatile. I think they can win under a myriad of conditions. I just think Detroit's better than they are, and they happen to be in the same division, which is unfortunate for Green Bay.
Justin in the chat says that gloves make it worse in the rain. I don't think that was a problem for Jared Goff.
No, Jared Goff looked great in the rain with gloves. Tom Brady used to wear gloves in the rain. Lots of quarterbacks wear gloves in terrible conditions.
You need lots of sets of gloves.
So, despite Justin's expertise on the matter, I'm not so sure that he's right on this matter. I mean, who am I to question Justin? I know, but
might be Justin Fields.
Oh no! He said he coached in high school, so he's giving you the same argument that you used to play tackle football when you weigh in with your advice. So maybe he's right.
And you don't give me any credit for it either.
No, I mean I would take Brady's advice, but he's like, why isn't he wearing gloves?
Yeah.
And he kept fumbling without gloves.
Over
Try
and
something
over
different.
and over again.
Let's talk about Dallas. Dak's hurt now with a hamstring injury. CeeDee Lamb is also hurt. He's going for an MRI on his shoulder. Do you think that there's the nobody believes in us with Cooper Rush? Didn't Cooper?
You know what they should do is put their punter at quarterback. He throws a great ball.
Oh my God!
They would have practiced that all week too.
I thought it was tipped. He threw it so badly. It wasn't. He throws like you.
He loaded up like a 3rd grader. He's like, ugh.
That was really, really, really bad. Dallas is so cooked, and I have been more supportive of Dallas than most people have this year. And they're done for. That division is a 2-horse race, and Dallas is not in it, and they're not going to be a wild card team. So it's over.
Do you think that who would you imagine gets fired next, Garion? Do you think they'll fire McCarthy, or is this just the end of the year, then get rid of him, or is it Dennis Allen who gets fired?
I don't think he gets fired mid-season.
I agree.
Does Dennis Allen? Does he come back from Germany if they lose to the Giants? Or
no, the Carolina goes to Germany.
That's right.
There's no point in firing Dennis Allen either at this point. You might as well just let them finish the season out, and then the seasons are lost. Why pay an interim coach in addition to the coach you're going to pay anyway? Let them go at the end of the season on Black Monday, and go after somebody who's competent. That's all you can do.
Could you, with the Saints, could you just promote Clint Kubiak and see if that works?
I mean,
yeah.
The offense has been nothing for the last 6 weeks. He was a wonderkind for the first 2 weeks, and the Saints looked fantastic. And whatever they had figured out was refigured out real quickly by their opponents. No,
it also feels like they crushed the Panthers, which we knew at the time was not great. And then they went out and crushed the Cowboys, and we're like, oh, that's a quality win. And now it doesn't even seem that great.
Yeah, I would just let them. I'm of the opinion you don't let a coach go mid-season unless they've completely lost the locker room or Mr. Johnson wants him gone. Those are the only 2 conditions under which you should fire a coach mid-season.
Well, I mean, you were calling for the Jets coach's head last week.
I still don't think Jeff Albrecht's a very good coach. I don't quite understand what he's doing.
Could they get Giff? Could they make him the new coach?
He won so many games. I mean, the defense played pretty decently against the Texans. They won by 8. The Jets probably should have won by 20, which is kind of an indictment a bit against the Jets that, again, they massively underperformed in the game they were dominating. But
How funny is it going to be next season when the Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel and the Jets hire him, and you have to say nice things about Mike McDaniel?
As long as he's not offensive coordinator, I'll say all kinds of nice things.
Head
about
coach.
him. I think he's a great
No, he'll be
offensive
head coach.
coordinator. I just don't think he's cut to be to be a head coach. That's all. I stand by it.
Garion, is there any freer money on the board right now than A-Chain over receptions when Tua plays?
Oh God, no. He's check down machine. I think it's like some well-designed plays, but yeah, that's free money.
All right. Well, a few other things since we finished off with the AFC East here. Why didn't New England go for 2 at the end of that game?
I don't know. I was. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. It's hard to try to figure out motivation for either of those teams, though. I mean, obviously, again, the players want to win, the coaches want to win. We all know that, but I don't know. I mean, did either of those teams want to win? Like, if you're Tennessee, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're kind of pissed right now, right?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be hard to put myself in the shoes of a Tennessee fan. Like, what am I doing rooting for the Titans? This is really
All I
strange.
know is that a Tennessee
It's
team
just
going
mad in
to
general.
maybe they were doing a solid for the Chargers because now that the Titans went to overtime against the Chargers, playing the Chargers next week, it makes the Chargers a free money play next week.
Well, let's talk Chargers because they blew out the Browns. I actually thought the Browns defense played really well, got to Herbert early, and they did this. Jameis was actively trying to throw them out of the game, and the Chargers wouldn't take it in the first half, although they started getting down by a bunch. But they just kept dropping interceptions that Jameis was throwing to him. I theorize that he puts a certain different spin on the ball when he throws it to the other team intentionally, which it looks like he's trying to do. They started coming down with him in the second half. They did say that they are sticking with Jameis going forward right now. I mean, they have really no other options. Did we get a bit too hyped for Jameis? Potentially?
I mean, this was predictable, right? This is Jameis. This is the Jameis experience. Like, he has an amazing game. It's what made that QB room with him and Fitzmagic together in Tampa Bay so hilarious that they're basically just 2 generations of the exact same dude. Where they'll have a game that makes you think like, man, this guy might be a franchise quarterback, and then they'll go out there and throw 4 picks. It's amazing.
So you have the Chargers. Denver got exposed.
Yeah.
Even though Bo Nix caught a touchdown, which was really nice.
Yeah.
Good body adjustment in midair.
It's pretty clear that Denver doesn't belong anywhere close to the upper crust, even though their record suggested that maybe they were approaching that.
Well, their 4 wins were what? The Panthers, the Saints with a backup quarterback,
Raiders and
Jets.
Raiders and Jets.
Oh, Geno, touchdown to JSN again.
Wow.
Having a big day.
Maybe too much time though.
What, 3 for him?
I think because Lockett
Just 2,
has
I think.
Lockett has 1.
2.
Yeah. So there's 51 seconds left for the Rams to come down the field.
I think the
here.
team I was most impressed about today, and the team I feel strongest about now, is Arizona. They've proven they are a playoff caliber team, and every bit as good as anyone else in that division, and would shock nobody at this point if they won the NFC West.
I think
They're every bit as good.
You can kind of say that about every NFC West.
No, but
team
they've
right
actually
now.
got. You look at the wins Arizona's actually piled up. They have an excellent roster of wins.
Well, you think Miami sucks? Who they just beat?
Yeah, I don't think Miami's that great, but I mean the Chargers, who are going to be probably a playoff team, they beat them. San Francisco, they beat them. The Rams, they beat them. Like, you look at their wins, they have some really quality wins, and I don't know if Kyler's playing pretty well. Kyler's the best quarterback in the division right now.
I would not say that by a long shot. And Kyler didn't even play all that well today. They just ran the ball down the Bears' throats. That's what happened. And the defense harassed Caleb Williams. He got sacked 6 times.
I think Arizona looks like they're in very, very good shape.
Do you like
the Rams losing?
Do you like Arizona, Garion?
I think they're fine. The one thing that I definitely noticed watching them for an entire game last week was they really don't have the ability to take the top off of defense. I think everyone learned this week 1, which was kind of funny, and then everyone overreacted to it a little bit. But old Maserati Marv is not exactly the fastest receiver in the world, and they don't have a ton of speed on this team. So they are reliant sort of on these shorter drives, and they can get it done. And I think their running game has been impressive, and Connor's had some really big games so far this
He's
season.
going to have a huge game next week.
But their defense isn't great.
But
Like,
by
I
the
just
way,
think the Bears' offense
you
is
see what he's
bad.
doing here, right?
Yeah.
with them playing the Jets next week.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, they're so good now that what a quality win for the Jets it's going to be when they beat the mighty Cardinals,
will be a
who are
quality
far
win.
and away
The
the
look
best
on
team in the
his
NFC
face.
West.
It will be a
The
quality
look
win.
on your face says everything, Tim. You believe in the curse.
No, it will be a quality win. I'd be picking the Jets to win the game. I just did earlier, but don't tell me that Arizona's not a really good team. I think they are.
They're fine. Like they've won what
Let me
four
put it
games
this
on
way.
a walk-off field goal?
If you told me they were playing Green Bay, I would pick Arizona.
That game happened like 3 weeks ago, and Green Bay blew them out.
I would pick
Yeah.
Arizona.
Again, look, I'm not trying to take anything away from Arizona. I think they've been much better than people would have expected this season. But, they've won a bunch of games on last-second field goals. One of those games against San Francisco, wasn't that the game San Francisco lost their kicker, and the only reason they had a chance to win on a game-winning field goal was because San Francisco couldn't kick an extra point that would have won them the game?
Yeah, they had to keep going for it in field goal range on 4th and 12 from the 23-yard line.
Okay.
They couldn't kick a field goal.
Well, then let's discredit 2 of Washington's wins too. Do you want to do that?
We're not talking about Washington right
Yeah.
now.
We'll
I
get
don't
to
hold that
Washington here in
against.
a
It's not
minute.
Arizona's fault that San Francisco doesn't know how to manage their roster.
No, but you can't give them
'Cause
full
their
credit
kicker
for a
got
win.
hurt?
They don't have a punter who can kick field goals, clearly. I blame them. I do.
And then they win, what,
Get
3
yourself
games by a
Noel
combined...
Prefontaine.
Yeah, they win 3 games by a combined 4 points. They're okay, but it feels like they're going to... the way that you feel about Green Bay, I think I feel about Arizona.
Okay.
And, I feel like Green Bay is such a cut ahead of Arizona
I just
right
think
now.
Kyler's really, really good.
But he hasn't
he's
been all
very
that good.
underrated. He's a very underrated
I think he's
quarterback.
actually a bit overrated.
I don't
The fact
agree.
that people think he's really awesome, he doesn't really do much.
He's kind of awesome.
Where do you think he rates in the league right now?
Like the top 12.
You think he's a top 12 quarterback?
I think so.
Could we name 12 quarterbacks better that you would rather have on your team right now
For the
than
rest of
Kyler
the
Murray?
season.
Oh, for the rest of this
For the
season?
rest of this
so
season.
Dak is out because he's hurt. But in no world would you start to next
I
year.
don't know. Dak's been bad for several weeks.
I mean, the guy was second in MVP voting last year.
Yeah. Right now, I would take Kyler the rest of the year.
All right, so Gary, would you rather take Tua or Kyler? I'd rather have Kyler.
I had Kyler. Yeah, he's got mobility.
All right, so we pull up here.
Tua more first down quicks.
Oh,
Diving for first downs.
I actually
What a guy.
it's funny because Garrett Wilson's touchdown counted because he got his shin down. I actually thought Tua's shin was down when they showed the slow-mo replay, but apparently that doesn't count for if you're running. It only
No,
counts if
because
you're
it's
trying
a
to get your
feel-good
touchdown.
story. It's all good.
And they're also not
Also,
going to
DeMar Hamlin keeps killing people with his touch.
And they're not going to deny Wilson one of the greatest catches in the NFL's history. So they're going to give it to him.
So not only does Garrett Wilson have already the best catch in that stadium's history, he now has the top 2 catches in that stadium's history, Garion, according to Tim.
Okay. Wait, what was the first one?
It was someone from Monday Night Football that
Last
was
year,
nice,
opening night.
but
Last year against the Bills, it was
and
an
then-
unbelievable catch.
And then he claimed it was better than the Beckham catch.
yeah, well, certainly the one on Thursday was.
I don't
I'll say
know.
that.
I don't think that it was.
I think the degree of difficulty was higher. Turning
I
backwards,
think the
sideways.
fact that Tim, the fact that the next time someone makes a catch like that, they're not going to say, "Wow, he just made a Wilson catch." They're going to keep saying he just made the Beckham
because
catch.
we've been talking about that catch for 10 years, Gary, and that's why.
That tells the whole story, bud.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's a reason we're still talking about it.
No, I mean, it's because we've been talking about it for 10 years, and that just sort of gets
Why do
ingrained.
you think the reason is that we've been talking about it for 10? Because
Because
it was
an excellent-
bad?
No,
it
but
was a terrible catch? That's why we're
It just-
talking about it?
It just becomes ingrained and almost becomes a figure of speech.
But how come that hasn't happened yet with the Garrett Wilson
Well,
catch?
it happened 16 seconds ago.
And I think people have already forgot about it.
I haven't, and I won't let anyone forget about it
Oh,
ever.
great.
It's the greatest catch I've ever seen.
There's a case to be made that Kyler's the worst quarterback in that division. I think he's better than Geno, but I think that's pretty close.
I think so.
that he's probably pretty close to Purdy. I think I
Better
might
than
rather
Purdy?
have Purdy. I'd rather have Stafford. Stafford's better. You're the guy who's been railing for Stafford this entire time. Now all of a sudden, because Kyler plays the Jets next week, he's not as good. He's way better than
I
Stafford.
think I would take Kyler right now. I think Kyler's amazing.
And this is devoid of watching him play. Then,
I think he's really good.
what would you say was your favorite Kyler play today?
I can't think of a single individual play because it was on that screen that doesn't get much viewership. You know what happens when games go on that screen. Doesn't get watched.
I mean, I actively try to watch it. Because Caleb Williams hurt my feelings today, Garion. His over-under, or his higher-lower on underdog was 216.5, and Keenan Allen couldn't stretch one more half yard on that final play, and he got stuck at 216. That's never any fun.
I love those final plays. Someone pointed out, I was staring at the wall by this point, but someone pointed out that Jalen Waddle finished today with 2 catches for -4 yards and a touchdown.
Yes, well, and it also cost Tua his over on the passing prop.
Oh, yeah.
He was already over when A-Chain lateraled it back to him. He lost 20 yards of passing on it.
Can we bring the MRE over?
You know what? You're really begging for that MRE. I think that maybe we'll get to the MRE and who's not going to score the first touchdown tonight, plus the rest of the recap in a minute, right after this break. If you see yourself in a lot of the guests on the Pat Mayo Experience, it probably means you're not getting enough nutrients in your diet. There's a solution to this problem, and that solution is AG1. I hammer down a bottle of AG1 every morning when I wake up, and I do not lack energy. You can hear that in my voice. I'm always having energy. So if you need to get some in your life, or there's someone in your life that you need to get some for, right now, AG1 is running a special Black Friday offer for all of November. AG1 is a daily health drink packed with nutrients to help you alleviate bloating, support sustained energy, and the whole body health. Here's the key to AG1, because some people don't necessarily love the taste of ground up greens. The move is to cut it with orange juice. That's what I do. There's many different ways that you can make your own special recipe for it. You can put it in a smoothie. You can make it with cold water. But I just put a little bit of orange juice, then put in water for the other half. Boom, I put in my scoop of AG1, shake it up, energy all day long. And you can have that too with AG1. So this holiday season, try AG1 for yourself or even gift it to someone special. It's the perfect time to focus on supporting your body with an easy and surprisingly delicious daily health drink. And that's why I'm so excited to be partnering with them. Every week of November, AG1 will be running a special Black Friday offer for a free gift with your subscription, in addition to a welcome kit with vitamin D3 and K2. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/mayo to see what gift you can get this week. That's drinkag1.com/mayo to start your holiday season off on a healthier note. Well, supplies last. Seen anyone eyeing a bowl of what again looks like a bowl full of soupy maggots more than Tim was during that ad break. Next week, Tim, you're doing a fucking Hollywood line of AG1. Right, I'll get a mirror for you. I'll cut it in with you and just... You and Jalen Coker, first touchdown in the Munich game.
What have we got?
You got to show. You got to show it to the peoples. Jared, what did you prepare for Tim tonight?
It is similar to the bowl of maggots. Tonight we have Southwest fried beans and rice.
Southwest fried beans and rice. Can you hold it up to that camera, please, so the people can see?
For the record, this is the best.
How do you think that's holding it up to that camera?
A little higher.
Oh my God.
There you go. Wait, so I might be out of the loop on this one because I know it's been referenced a couple times the last 2 weeks. Did Tim eat a bowl of maggots?
No, it looked like a bowl of maggots. Like the rice in it.
I don't know what's in these MREs.
What's that?
I don't know what's in these MREs.
This is really good. It's got a nice spice to it. Very well seasoned.
Jared, have you had any of this?
Eating some right now.
How is it? Is it better than last week's?
In my opinion, this is the best since the tortilla soup.
Yeah, it's got a really nice melange of like chili powder and cumin. It's actually quite nice. Quite nice.
Can you not spill it all over the table?
No.
Can't bring you anywhere.
Might be strong, but
does it pair well with the Diet Coke, Tim, or does everything pair well?
Let's
with
find out. Yes, it does.
People are really commenting on how you don't know how to use an earpiece.
Okay. Thanks for focusing on the things that really matter.
Well, I mean, it's a video show. People can see it. It looks like you have something like a growth sticking out of your head. I asked you to fix it before the show, and you just gave me this look. Like,
works.
I asked you to clean. Do you see mine hanging out?
Doesn't work right.
What do you mean it doesn't work right?
It doesn't work right.
It's a fucking earpiece. You put it in. The FBI agents bouncers have no problem with it. You can't figure it out? Garion, have you ever had a problem with your earpiece?
Back in the day, I guess. It's been a while since I've worn one, honestly.
Yeah. Did you have many problems with it when it was happening?
No. They're quite simple. They're pretty straightforward.
I know what you're doing. Please don't do that.
Who's not scoring the first
I'm very
touchdown tonight?
self-conscious.
You're clearly not self-conscious if you're fucking like this. I love me my fried maggots and my salt. Go Jets. That's you.
Jordan Addison is not scoring the first touchdown.
There we go.
Tim, if the Jets win the Super Bowl, can you eat some MRE soup out of your Jets hat?
Oh, absolutely. What a low-hanging
like
request.
it's the Stanley Cup?
I'll drink it right from the Jets hat.
Okay, there we go.
Gary, did you happen to see Michael Thomas's tweets today?
This is good soup.
I did see Michael Thomas's tweets. These have been happening for a while, haven't they? Or is it's mostly it's Olave's brother, I guess, who's been tweeting.
I didn't realize it was Olave's brother. So Olave, like, there's no way he can play again this year, right? He had a concussion 3 weeks ago. Last week, he had to go to the medical tent to see if he sustained another concussion, and they had to cart him off the field with another brain injury today. Like, the Saints aren't going anywhere. Don't think that he should probably be coming back here. If I was him, I'd be like, I got my money here. We're doing okay. I don't need to have scrambled eggs for brains the rest of the season.
I would say you'd at least have to go the Tua route where you put him on IR and you just sort of like, look, I don't know how seriously Tua actually had conversations about ever, stepping away or experts or anything like that. Just let the quick cut. Yeah, put him on IR, like at the very least. It's so satisfying.
Oh, this guy in the chat says, remember when someone said that Pat looks like the love child of Pee Wee Herman and Katie Lang? I do remember, because that was me who said it. Actually, it was my wife who said it to me.
Okay.
Anyway, someone just mentioned that in the chat.
Okay.
11-1 is Addison? First touchdown? That can't be right. That's like stealing. Oh, yeah, there it is. Addison. Oh, my God. I don't like that at all. Have to bet it, though. You haven't hit one all year. Congratulations.
I know.
You've been dead on.
Hit my free money. I hit my super lock for the first time in it seems like a month.
We all hit our super lock.
Miami came through for me. I knew they were going to play that game close. That spread never made sense.
Wait, your super lock was Dolphins +6?
Yeah, it never made sense to me that game should be a blowout. I thought Miami would play them tough and tight, and that Buffalo was getting way too much air blown into their tires.
Yeah. They have now won 14 of the last 15 years.
Yeah, well, I didn't pick them to win, but I just thought 6 points was too many. I thought it should have been like 3.5 or 4, not 6. So
Paul could probably speak better to me than this, but I feel like the average margin to victory in those games is something like 3 touchdowns.
The last 3 at least have been quite a lot. I mean, Tua got hurt last time that they played. But, it was a great call by Topcat.
It's already going in a pretty bad direction.
Great call by Topcat. Like, Miami was the better team for most of the game.
Yeah.
The Rams and Seahawks are in overtime now, by the way.
yeah, I just noticed that.
Oh, that means automatic win for the Dolphins next week. Hooray!
Dolphins and Chargers looking good. Guess of the show doing very well going into next week. Can't lose.
Although, wait, does it count if it's Monday night? Because then they get the extra day off. Probably not, eh?
I don't know. That's extra rest then.
Ask Jeff how that works.
I'll have to get his breakdown, not with numbers, but with gut feeling of things that he may or may not have observed while high.
There's a lime in here too, by the way. There is. It's like I've been mulling over what that sort of like acidic punch is. There's lime in here. That's really nice. That gives it that really elevates it. Because it's not nearly as salty or rich as the last couple ones. Like there's like almost a freshness, even though I know it's an MRE, it's not fresh. But the flavor profile is like a freshness. And I think there's some lime like powder or something in here because it really hits the spot.
I'm sure it is powder if it's in there.
Oh, there's corn too.
I put more water in it tonight.
To make it soupier.
Yeah.
It's still pretty thick like porridge.
It looks so fucking gross.
It's actually quite delicious and nutritious.
Now, Tim, do you, in preparation for knowing you're going to get a meal, like, do you not eat dinner on Sundays now, knowing you're going to get an MRE?
I haven't the last few weeks.
Yeah, he doesn't get lunch with us anymore. He saves himself for the MRE and then like complains when he doesn't have it. You also don't need to make as much noise with us doing an audio show at the same time.
I got you dessert, buddy.
Oh,
a Kit Kat bar.
I'll eat that during
Oh.
I'll eat that when we make our picks.
Well, what was your guys' moment of the day?
Probably when the Lions took 2 15-yard penalties back to back, and the Packers turned that into a missed field goal. You don't see that very often, where 30 yards and penalties immediately result in nothing.
So I'll be honest, I golfed till 2 p.m. And then when the Dolphins lost, I was so angry I didn't want to watch any more football. So I watched 2 episodes of Peaky Blinders.
It's a Saquon jump. Might be the
oh yeah, I saw the Twitter highlight of that. That was fun.
It might be the greatest like in-game athleticism I've ever seen. And the fact that he wasn't really looking when he jumped to see the guy coming at him was just insane. And Devonta Smith's catch later on, very close to being as good.
Not quite as good, but it was a very, very nice catch.
I don't know. I think it's better, actually. I think it was a better catch.
It was a nice catch, though.
I heard some people talking about how Garrett Wilson made a Devontae-like catch on Thursday.
I had heard that. Like, when they were referencing the Wilson catch, they're like, oh, like the Devonta catch from today. The good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what many are saying. Yeah. At least many online. And many in the chat are saying the same thing as well. Dak saying we fucking suck on the sidelines.
Well, they do. Good. Truth hurts.
Do you think he should be saying that as the leader of the team on the sidelines?
I mean,
you freaked out when Jim Harbaugh showed life on the sidelines.
I don't like it, but that team's not going anywhere either. What the heck happened to the Rams Seahawks game?
The Rams.
Yeah, but they had the ball. The Seahawks had the ball in the red zone.
I mean, you getting updates like a minute after they happen from your app and then trying to call it out as live while we're already on delay is probably not the best for this show.
Oh, they went for it on 4th and 1 and got stuffed.
Aha! Go tie. We haven't had a tie yet.
We almost had the tie in the Patriots.
We did.
Game.
That would have been great. Go tie.
What would have happened if Tennessee used all the time in overtime to kick the field goal? Would the Patriots have had a chance to get the ball?
No, I don't think so. The clock has expired. That takes precedence. Time's over.
Didn't this happen? Or maybe it was a playoff game, so maybe that doesn't count.
No, because when Tennessee kicked the field goal, I think there was only like 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in overtime.
Right.
But if somehow they had gotten another first down, let it get down there, isn't the rule that the other team has to get the ball if you don't score a touchdown?
Well, I still think it's within the parameters of the time.
That's it. I think the clock obviously has to take precedence. Yeah, it's not like they've committed a foul. Sure. I think, I'm sure it's in the rule book, but I'm sure once they hit triple zeros, unless there's a penalty, the game's over.
The chat just says the throw that Stafford just made in the catch was better than the Wilson catch.
Okay, sure. You guys can keep
piling on. Many are saying.
Keep piling on if it makes you feel tall.
I feel like people are talking about how Bo Nix's catch was better than
I loved Bo Nix's catch. It was awesome. It was like the one highlight that they could have in that entire
Everybody's
game.
against the Jets. That's fine. I understand. I would be too. You're lucky that they started 3-6 and not 6-3 because this team would have won the Super Bowl.
You accumulate all this hate, and then when they make the playoffs because they're 10-7, you can tweet out a compilation of all the people that wronged you and didn't believe in you.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Of credit.
How many drafts do you have just stewing, just sitting in your?
Really not really. I don't. I don't have any. We're not there yet. Ask me in a month.
Garion, do you believe in the Chargers?
What would your definition of believe be? Like, do I think they can make the playoffs? Yes. Do I think they could do anything in the playoffs? No.
Do you think they could win a game in the playoffs?
No. I mean, I guess they play a certain style of football that could be conducive to, like, if they just happen to get a crazy cold weather game. And obviously, they're not getting a home playoff game, so maybe they'd have to play in Kansas City.
Buffalo. I think they're a perfect team for Buffalo.
Maybe they could run the ball.
Exactly. Buffalo would just wilt like they always do.
But at a certain point, I think you have to have a set of, like, someone among your skill position players has to be able to, like, win a one-on-one battle. And I just don't think they have a single receiver that can do that. Oh. Not even Honky Tonk McConkey.
David R. says that the refs actually said in this Rams game that if the unlikely event that the first drive goes 10 minutes, the other team does not get a possession.
No, because how could they?
I don't understand why there's a, like, that seems to defeat the purpose of the rule, doesn't it?
No, yeah. But you also have a time limit. You can't play ad infinitum. It's in a regular season game. Ties are allowed. It's okay.
Well, the other team gets their possession to go.
But there's no time on the clock for them to do anything with.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you almost have to guarantee them the other possession because that's sort of the whole point of what happens if you kick the field goal.
10 minutes.
But then there's no time on the clock. If they kick a field goal, it's a tie. If they score a touchdown, it's over. There's no time on the clock.
The clock reigns supreme in this situation.
Yeah, people are fired up for Stafford here, so it seems like they've done something. All right, touchdown. There it is. Game over. Rams win. And I finally win a bet with Cam. Although, Garion, my bet with Cam with Carolina and New Orleans season win total is not looking good anymore.
Oh yeah, jeez.
New Orleans became. Derek Carr is the first guy to lose to 31 teams in the NFL. That's fun. They're also the first team, I think it was, to win the turnover battle, outgain them by like 150 yards on the ground, and lose a game.
Yeah.
Like that set of parameters was 275-0 before today.
Well, the
He's
Jets.
also,
it was like the
in
Jets had
terms of,
that.
like-
yeah, the Jets had that against the Bills game.
Just a quarterback.
What's that, Gary?
Go ahead, Tim.
No, that's right. Go ahead.
Oh, just in terms of like starting quarterback age, he's set the record for most losses at a particular age, and then he just tied Archie Manning at whatever age they are now. But he is the losingest quarterback basically of all time. Go Derek Carr.
And Dennis Allen, the third worst winning percentage now of any coach who's coached 75 games ever. Keep him on. He's great. He's the Kyler Murray of coaches.
Wow, that's so.
That's
mean.
according to you. Both
That's
great.
So mean to be mean to Kyler like that.
I mean, it seems like you called him pretty great today after it just basically admitting you didn't see a single play he made.
He was pretty great. He's been pretty great all season.
I mean, you just saw Kyler Murray play against the Dolphins, Gary. I'm sure you watched that. Would you say that Kyler was great in that game?
No, but Marvin Harrison was fantastic in that game.
And so was James
Like
Conner.
he made four catches that were incredible. But again, he had to make them because he wasn't fast enough to get away from a cornerback. Yeah, Kyler's fine. Like he's like the 17th best quarterback in football. It's fine.
He's better than average, right around
Yeah.
average, somewhere around there. You know, Tim gassing him up because he's playing the Jets, and then when he has the regular Kyler game against the Jets, then Tim can point to how good the Jets defense is.
Jets front is the best front there is.
Is it?
I think so. With Quinnen Williams and Reddick now and Will McDonald. I don't know that you would take anybody's front over the Jets front right now.
You said James Conner was going to run wild.
No, because they can't
tackle.
because you can't. As soon as you get to the edge, the linebackers can't tackle at all.
Isn't Will McDonald technically a linebacker?
Yeah, but he has his hand on the ground a lot, so he's like a defensive end. He's an edge.
How many edges do they have then?
Like he's an edge rusher.
Well, how many edge rushers do they have then?
Basically, he and Reddick are both edge rushers.
Okay.
They can't tackle in the mid.
Sounds like you need a defensive tackle. Sounds like you need to trade the Dolphins a 3rd-round pick for Calais Campbell.
Do you think there'll be any? Oh, it was Demarcus Robinson who got the touchdown, by the way. Do you think anyone else gets traded before Tuesday?
New Orleans should offload as many people as they possibly can. They have cap
Who
problems.
did they even trade?
I think Latimer's probably the closest guy, but he didn't even play today because he's hurt. So I don't know if anyone wants to trade for a hurt guy.
Is that like a Deontay Johnson situation, though, or maybe he wasn't playing because they were trying to just make sure he was healthy to be traded?
Is that why Deontay, like, a lot of stuff has come out about Deontay Johnson? Like, did we actually hear? I didn't even see how he did today. I saw Zay Flowers was going crazy in that game, and then they got up by 40, so I stopped watching it. But there's been a lot of rumors, and Jeff kind of alluded to it on the spread show, that kind of a knucklehead, Deontay Johnson. No one really wanted him.
Maybe. I hadn't seen anything, but it wouldn't necessarily... In the lineage of Steelers receivers who turn out to be just absolute weirdos, I could see that, sure.
I mean, I'm sure you're not talking about American Patriot Antonio Brown. Hero.
But it's like, you've got George Pickens, you've got Chase Claypool. Like, they have a long line of receivers.
Plaxico Burress?
Plaxico Burress, right. True.
I forgot Plaxico Burress existed. I wonder what he's doing now. Do you think he has a limp?
I don't know. Good question.
Did you ever find out where exactly he shot himself in the leg?
I thought he just
don't.
cheddar bobbed himself.
I don't know.
He came back and played, didn't he, after that?
Yeah, like very.
Oh, yeah.
Almost like 2 weeks later. So it couldn't have been that bad.
I mean, if there is a solution to the gun problem in America, it's just be an NFL player, because you can get shot and just come back immediately.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Look at Ricky Bullets.
Yeah.
Guy's going to have his off week. He's going to come back and be great.
And Josh Reynolds. No one really talked about that, but he also got shot, apparently.
Did he get... I thought there was like a shooting that was involved with Josh Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
guess
he
that's
got
true.
shot or not. I think there was
Maybe he didn't get shot. True.
NFL players getting mowed down, apparently. Got to watch out. But apparently he just bounced back and be fine. Although Brian Robinson missed 4 games by getting shot. He can barely play with his hamstring injury now. It's kind of strange, huh?
Washington was not very impressive today. I mean,
Washington was incredibly impressive.
scored
You
27
You
points.
didn't watch the game. You came into the room and said, that game sure didn't seem like the score.
It didn't.
Well, because Washington crushed them the entire game.
like, they did
it was garbage time for a quarter and a half for the
Thought they
Giants.
would score like a lot more points in that game.
I mean, it's a pretty hot take for not watching the game.
Well, I did see some of it at home. A little bit, anyway. I saw some of it.
But you just...
But it wasn't the game I was focused on. I was focused on
No,
Bills
but you
Dolphins.
just said, with the first thing that you told me is that, boy, the score doesn't really reflect.
No, because when I left and stopped watching, like Washington was up like 27-12 or something.
Yeah, because it wasn't close and Washington was killing them.
Yeah. Still don't believe in this Washington team very much.
Is that the best news Washington fans could hear, Garion?
I'm sure they're ecstatic right now. Yeah. I mean, again, I think everything's free money this year for Washington. Like, you're just having the ride of your life. You've got your franchise quarterback. But just to have this added on is the cherry on top.
All right, let's get some lines. For week number 10, we have 4 teams on bye. The Browns, the Packers, the Raiders, and the Seahawks, with San Francisco and who coming off bye? Who didn't play this week? The
Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
Garion, would you like to go first, second, or third?
I'll go first. I got to score a point this week.
All right.
Thursday night football. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm going to say Ravens by 3.5.
No,
It's at the Ravens.
that is correct.
Ravens by 4.
Nope,
I'm going to say 4.5, but if I were picking, I'd have picked 6.
it is 6.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I don't get the exact.
You
no,
wouldn't have got
and I
extra
actually think
points
that,
anyway.
that line is short. I would take the Ravens there.
You would take the Ravens with that
I
number?
would. I think there should be Ravens by 6.5 or 7.
Do we think that T. Higgins will be back for that game?
I honestly don't care.
I mean, he didn't practice at
He helps
all.
them, but I don't care. The Ravens should eat them alive.
If I had to guess, I'd say no T. Which means fire up the Gasicki again.
If I heard, well, Eric All Jr., Cuss boy, like blowed his knee today, so I don't think he's going to be playing either. Yeah,
I like Eric Hall Jr.
he had a bad knee injury. So,
It's Thursday Night Football. It'll be an awful game.
oh, we didn't talk at all about Cincinnati. Burrow's now the only guy in the league to throw for 5 touchdowns twice in a game.
And 1-1 in those 2 games.
Interesting. But like they're the team, like, I mean, you're going to have to down talk them because they're the team that you need to do poorly if the Jets have any chance of making the playoffs. Because they're sort of in the same spot as the Jets. There's
Except
a
they
game
have a
ahead
much
of them.
harder schedule ahead
But
of them.
they're also a game ahead of them too.
Correct. And they don't play each other. So
I could also see Pittsburgh kind of falling back to the pack
maybe.
down the stretch of the season.
Maybe.
Well, if the
You know they love to sit a game above 500.
the Steelers, if they do fall back to the pack, I think a lot of it will have to do with the Bengals as they play the Steelers still twice the rest of
Yep,
the season.
that's true.
But who have they beat so far? They beat the Giants, the Browns, the Panthers, and the Raiders. Like
They beat the dregs
they're
of the
basically Denver and Chicago, like with their wins.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, their defense is terrible.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe 6 is too short.
I think it is.
And the Ravens just look like a unit again today.
I wouldn't want to bet against them.
Did Lamar run at all? I know he wasn't running early. I don't know if he ended up picking up anything. Maybe just Henry ended up doing it and scoring the 2 touchdowns. But it's fine because
Well, he didn't even play the whole game, right?
he didn't play towards the end. But
Yeah.
like when I was breaking down that game, why I thought that Denver would cover was basically the same thing that Washington did and try to like contain Lamar. And yeah, Lamar three carries for 4 yards in the game. It just he's getting better.
Yeah, they didn't need it.
Didn't need it at all. And Henry was gashing them on the ground anyway. And they'll probably get Keaton Mitchell back next week. Yeah, no catches for Deontay Johnson in that game. I'm with you. I lean Baltimore, I think, Thursday night. Next game, Paul.
We got the Giants versus the Panthers in Munich.
God. Giants, Panthers. Giants by 2.5.
No.
5.
Nope.
Oh boy. Do I middle this or do I just say 5.5? I'll say 5.5.
It's 4.5, so Tim wins.
Tim gets it. The
Fueled
one
by
good thing
MREs.
about the Panthers winning this week is we get this line now to bet against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though it's the Giants who don't score.
The Giants just played a very competitive game and
No, but,
should have
like,
beat Washington, you just said.
We're asking them to win by margin. I think you just don't touch this game. This game is too trash. You don't need to watch it. You don't need to bet it.
Oh, no.
Just sleep in.
No. You want to watch the Munich
just
game.
sleep in.
The Munich game is great.
Okay.
Why don't you? The Munich game last year was fun. The Dolphins almost beat the Chiefs. And Tyreek had that
Terrible
fumble.
game. It was 21-14.
And the crowd was really fired up the whole time. It was the most enjoyable. It was were there 2 Germany games last year?
just one.
Nah, just one.
Was there? Yeah.
Bunch of London games, but only one Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recall enjoying the crowd at the Germany game last year. So maybe it'll be nice.
Because we had that one super fan in Munich who was watching the show at 3 a.m. in a window.
Yeah, there you go. This is the game that we were going to go to cover live. But then they stopped having that flight from here to...
Yeah.
It's in Frankfurt, right?
I think so.
The Frankfurt flight starts back up again in the new year. We need to catch it on the right week this time around. No, I think this 4.5 for the Panthers. Like, they barely did
know.
anything today and won this
know.
game. The Saints had 5 penalties on 3rd down to cost them first downs. And the Giants, if one thing they can do, they can run.
Yeah.
Panthers can't stop that.
That's true.
They have to be locking in the Giants in Germany at 4.5. Next game.
Bills at Colts.
Bills by 5.5.
No.
Bills by 7.
No.
Bills by 5.
Bills by 4.
Okay.
I get that one, 2-1. Short line.
It is a short line.
Do you how do you think that line swings if Minnesota absolutely pummels Indianapolis?
Maybe it
tonight?
moves up to 5.5.
All right. Next game. You worried about that one, Paul?
I mean, I could see a world where Jonathan Taylor runs all over us for sure.
I like Amari should be back. I kind of like the Bills more inside than I like them outside.
Yeah, who knows? It's a tough league to win in.
I know it.
We got the Steelers at the Commanders.
Okay. I'm just say Commanders by 3.
Nope.
Commanders by 2.5.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, 2 for me to take the lead. That is a fun matchup,
It is a good game.
Yeah.
especially with the Steelers coming off.
Coming off by, I would lean towards the Steelers in that game.
I actually like. I don't know. We'll see how well Pittsburgh's offensive line can hold up, but Washington just gets to quarterbacks. And
Yeah.
that's good when you're playing Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You can talk a little bit
I'm
more.
dubious.
You realize that.
I'm
Like,
dubious.
do you need to take a nap before
Well, no,
we
I'm
finish
not,
the show?
I'm not picking the game here on the show.
I'm not, but we can talk about it.
I haven't really given.
You're just going, huh? Yeah.
Well, I don't have fully
moving your
formed
eyebrows.
thoughts on the games yet.
Maybe the chocolate bar will wake you up.
We have a 3-hour show on Tuesday. Where we
I
can
understand that.
hash
I'd like
this
to
all
talk.
out.
All right, let's just finish up. Let's end the show.
What's the next spread?
Oh, we got the Broncos at the Chiefs.
Chiefs by 7.5.
Nope.
9.
Nope.
7.
9.5.
Oh.
Nice. All right.
I'm actually surprised that it's the same line as the Baltimore game.
I think it wouldn't
Yeah.
have been this line had the Ravens, had they not blown out Denver. I think it would have been shorter had Denver not gotten blown out.
Do you think this
I
ends
guess
up?
that's true. It's
Do you think
reactionary a little bit.
this one ends up being closer? Because it seems,
Yes. In division, I actually do think it ends up being.
and with the Chiefs' offense, like
And the Chiefs coming off a shortish week, playing Monday night. Yeah, I actually think this game will play a little closer. I would lean Broncos right now.
next one.
49ers at Bucks.
To me, at Bucks. Bucks are really decimated. It's, 49ers by 5.5.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wow. Well done, Tim.
Say 9.5.
5.5.
McCaffrey back?
Yeah, supposed to be coming off by. Supposed
That's
to
the
be back.
rumor.
Wonder what their odds are to win the division now. They're probably like minus 200.
No, not
Yeah,
with the
well,
not with the
one's-
Rams winning and the Cardinals winning today.
Well, at least one of those teams had to win.
Yeah, but like with
They're
the Rams,
they're still going to be the favorites.
yeah, but they won't be
Yeah,
won't be heavy favorites.
But just
yeah, but I don't think they'll be plus money.
Even money.
they're even money.
Even money.
Yeah.
That's like
Plus
the
100.
That's actually like the best they've been in a while, because they'd continued to be minus 130, minus 120. I would think that with McCaffrey. I guess now that Ayuk is done for the year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're in trouble, but I don't quite trust them. I think this team is circling the drain a little bit
How come?
because they haven't played good all year. We're more than halfway through the season, and they don't have Ayuk. You can't depend on their receivers to catch the balls or play, and their running back, who hasn't played for 4 months, is going to come in and make a big change. And I don't trust their quarterback. And I don't know. Just the year seems like it's going sideways, and I have no reason to trust this team. They tried to lose to Dallas last week. Dallas had the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win. This 49ers team is not the 49ers team of a couple of years ago. They're just not quite what they were.
Last year?
Well, last year they went to the Super Bowl. The year before they probably would have gone had their quarterback not gotten hurt in the championship game. Like the last couple of season Niners were much better than this iteration. They just are.
I'd still say they're a top 4 team in the NFC.
I don't know that I agree. I don't know that I agree.
Say San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Green Bay are all kind of on the same tier, and then you have the Lions ahead of them.
Like as much as I down talk Washington is better than the San Francisco team right now.
I'd take San Francisco against Washington.
Is Arizona better than San Francisco?
I mean, I think they're like on par when they played the Cardinals won. I think they're on par.
I mean, you just said that about the Cardinals and Packers.
Yeah, I think they're on,
they destroyed them.
I think they're on par.
All right. Next game.
We got Frank Falcon at the New Orleans Saints.
Oh boy. I'll say Falcons by 5.5.
Nope.
Falcons by 6.5.
Nope.
I'm gonna go lower than both of you. I'll say 5, but I think it's probably like 3.5 or 3.
It's 3.
Yeah. Wow. Has to be. You just can't make Atlanta that big a favorite.
Is that a sucker line?
No, it's because you know who Atlanta is, and you can't trust them. And if you get the world is going to be on Atlanta, and Atlanta's going to score 6 points. I don't trust Atlanta.
Atlanta's your team, though. You love Atlanta.
I know, but you can't. But as soon as you think you can trust them, you can't trust them.
That's when they get you?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Next one.
We got the Vikings at the Jags.
To you.
I'm thinking. Vikings by 2.5.
Nope.
4.
Nope.
3.
5.5.
Nice.
Ooh. Vikings on the
Jags.
road.
No respect for that Jags team.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Although they did cover today against the Eagles. But 5.5. They're favored by 5.5 in Jacksonville. They're currently 5.5-point favorites at home against Indy. Like if Indy was to play Jacksonville in Jacksonville would probably be favored in that game.
I think this is what the books are saying. It would be like Jacksonville minus 1.5. Yeah.
No, they're not saying that at all. Indy is on the road to play Minnesota. They're 5.5 or 6-point underdogs.
Yeah.
And now the Jags at home are 5.5-point to 6-point dogs to Minnesota.
What did Philly close at today?
I believe it was it that high?
I remember being shocked by how high it was last week when we were talking opening lines, but I'm not sure what it closed at.
All right, so Tim is up 7-3-0. This is not close right now.
Patriots at Bears.
Is it me? Yes.
Yeah.
That one first. Patriots at Bears. Oh, goodness.
This will be bad for the Bears Super Bowl odds if they lose this game.
Bears by, is it 6.5 or 7? 6.5.
Nope.
Bears by 6.
Nope.
You said 6.5? I'll say 7. I think it might be
It's
higher.
7.
It is 7.
Yeah, so 4 for me. All right, come back on right now. Only down 3. Let's go, Gary. Don't you start stealing these on me.
Les
I need one.
Titans at the Chargers.
Ooh. Chargers by 7.
Nope.
Chargers by 6.5.
Nope.
I'll go lower, but I think it's much lower. I'm going to say Chargers by 6. I'd have it Chargers 4.5.
It's 8.5.
Higher. That's risk. Gary
Gets a point.
That's risky biz with the Chargers. Although they have won games by margin this year.
That's a
They
good.
have
That's a
been
good.
beating
That's
up
a
on
good
bad
teaser
teams.
game.
It
Yeah.
just
Mine-
feels like anytime they score, it's such a.
I don't mind teasing
Such a
the
mission.
Chargers down there.
Well, Dobbins started looking good towards the end of the game when they got up by
It's
a
a
bunch.
lot of points. The Titans are really bad, though.
Yes, this we forget.
We also have to
really,
remember the Titans
really
just
bad.
played an overtime game.
That's true,
Yeah.
which makes the Chargers an unbeatable team.
And they had to go to overtime with the Patriots.
Yes, that's true.
Next one.
We got the Eagles at the Cowboys.
Oh, with probably, I'm guessing Cooper Rush is playing quarterback. I mean, I suppose there's someone from the XFL they could sign and start. Or Trey Lance could start.
That's right.
They were showing him on the sidelines. Is Anthony Richardson the new Trey Lance?
No,
He's just
'cause
Trey Lance who ended up with more starts in the NFL?
You're getting close, actually. I was going to say no, but the more I think about it, maybe.
Philly at Dallas. Philly by 7.
Ding, ding, ding.
Whoa! Yeah.
It's much higher than I was going to go.
Really?
Is that line
gonna
like
say
easy
5.5.
to find, Paul, or did you have to find that as like have to dig for that one?
That was at our former sponsor. I'm looking at our former sponsor, long-term
5.5.
sponsor.
I'm just wondering if it's like if
You
if
work
the books
for
are-
them.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if they've definitively
got it.
decided
They've got
that
it up.
We can say that
That,
Garion's
that
with
one.
DraftKings. That's fine. That's where he
Yeah.
works.
that's where I work.
I just don't know the rules of all these things sometimes. You know, Pat's got that underdog sign behind his back.
Listen, underdog is a
know.
daily fantasy spot right now.
Fair.
So, I mean, DraftKings Sportsbook is totally different. That's sports betting. That is under different regulations than Underdog Daily Fantasy, where you should use code Mayo, by the way, and sign up. I gave out a 10-1 on Twitter today. Boom. Barkley cashed it for me within like 20 seconds of that game starting. It was awesome. Next game, Paul.
We've got the New York Jumbo Jets at NFL MVP Kyler Murray.
Oh, they're at? I thought it was in New
Yeah, I was
York.
mistaken. They are in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy. I guess you have to make the Cardinals favorites.
You seem so pained.
Well, they're playing the 8-time reigning theoretical MVP, Garion.
Cardinals by a point.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, wow.
He probably
Oh!
No, I mean, like, I think it probably should be Jets by 1.5, but the Cardinals just won pretty comfortably.
Do you think that flips by the end of the week?
Yeah, I do. In the same way that the money kept going towards the Jets last Thursday, I do think that'll kick off at Jets by 2.5.
Wow.
I do.
Okay.
Next game, Paul, with Garion going first.
Lions at Texans.
That's the Sunday night game, isn't it?
Correct.
Interesting. Nico might be back for that one.
Oh, really?
I think he's eligible this week, isn't he? Or is it
Yeah,
next week?
I thought he wasn't practicing as of yet. Like, he's still kind of hurt.
True. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say Lions by 2.
Nope.
Lions by 6.5.
Nope.
Seems really high. I was going to say 3.
It's 4.5.
That's me then.
Houston isn't good. We just
Yeah,
saw
well,
Houston not be good against a
not-
below-average team.
Houston's all right, but the Lions are awesome.
Okay, so the Lions are awesome. You have Houston, who's pretty fraudulent, can't block, and doesn't have their two best playmakers. And
Also, they just lost a guard for the season. Not that he was good, but I can't imagine his back.
They
is
have
that bad.
their problems. That's true.
like not being able to keep running on first down every single time and not being able to keep Stroud upright is an issue. It feels like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem like their good defense
I just don't
couldn't
think
slow
they
down
want,
the
I just
Jets.
don't think they want you teasing the Lions, so they're not going to let you tease them.
I mean, you can tease them.
Well, you can.
Cam once told me on the show, he doesn't give a shit. He'll tease through 0.
That's true.
Not a problem.
That's true.
Next one, Monday Night Football.
What's the
That
score?
it is. It's Miami Dolphins
score?
Oh, you won.
at the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, Dolphins
Dolphins on Monday
home
night.
game.
at the Rams. Whose pick is it?
I believe
It's Pats.
it's mine first.
That's what Garion said.
Dolphins
Yeah,
at
I just
Rams.
went- I just
Rams by 2.5.
Ding, ding, ding.
I actually like.
It's getting a little bit juiced, so it could end up going to the full 3.
I kind of like Miami there.
I do too.
Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe everyone in the AFC East is a lot worse than we think that they are because we talk about them
I
so
think
much.
that's true. I do think
Can I
that's true.
can I do a PSA right now though?
Yes, let me hear it.
If the Dolphins win that game, they follow that up with games against the Raiders and Cleveland, which they might also win. I don't care. They're bad. I don't care if they're 5-6. I don't believe in them. I don't want Tim starting to create rumors where I think the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl or something. No, it does not matter. They are bad, and this season is over. I'm definitively saying that.
Okay.
As Sean points out, when we did the most mobile quarterback rankings, you ranked Rodgers ahead of Kyler Murray.
I think Rodgers is still quite mobile. I still think Rodgers is very mobile. He made some really nice moves in the pocket on Thursday night when he was under some pressure. So, for what it's worth.
All right, well, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I shall return on Monday morning on the channel with the waiver wire update, the full injury report, the quick hitter. That's on the Fantasy Football Picks and Bets feed. And Gary and I'll have the power poll with Jake Seeley.
Hooray! I like Jake.
Jake and my wife wanted the same thing for Halloween.
That's great. Who wore it better?
My wife, most definitely
Okay.
was a. Not only was she a better looking ray gun, she had all the moves down, which was pretty good. I only saw Jake quickly on an Instagram story, and he didn't really have his heart into it. Just awkwardly moving around. But there was no awkward. It was awkward to watch ray gun, but she wasn't awkward doing it.
No, not at all. She felt like she was
Yeah,
great.
very fluid.
Yeah. Like there's a mentality that you have to go through where you can be self-conscious about doing something, and that comes through and translate. That's how I felt like Jake was doing it. But ray gun wasn't doing that.
No.
She was 10 out of 10.
You just got to
in
sell
the confidence
it.
scale.
You just got to sell it.
Oh, DGen. Justin says DGen with a 35K win tonight. Awesome.
Great.
James, shout out to you, pal. That's awesome. He's over at shipitnation.com. Tambo has a new site dropping, too. Tambo's tidbits.com. I assume there'll be bits of tid in there. Garion may return for next week. I'll ask him after the show. Tim will be here as well, and hopefully whatever MRE he eats next week won't make him as logy in the second half of the show. But thank you all for watching. Smash a like while you're here, sub to the channel, and I will see you next time.